So are others, others are going to be joining?
Yeah, I think so. And Nicole just
I
said,
didn't know if it had got rescheduled to 12:30. Is that what happened?
I think every week we meet at 12:30 Mountain Time.
Oh,
But
say that you just kind of cut out on me.
oh, sorry. Every week we meet at 12:30 Mountain Time.
Oh, is it okay? Because I thought so, but in the email that was sent, it said meeting today at 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 2:30 Eastern. I'm like, well, how does that work?
Oh,
So I was a little confused. So I joined in at 12 o'clock just in case.
yeah. Well, huh.
Did you see that from Nicole?
Okay, I saw from Nicole that she was going to be late today.
Yeah. So in it, she said the meeting today at 12 p.m. MST, 2:30 p.m. EST, and then your reply with the link to the meeting. And so,
I don't see
do you
where
see that? Are you looking at?
Can you still see my screen?
Let me switch back. Yeah, it's the subject of the email. Right up. It says meeting at 12 p.m. MST, 2:30 EST. I was like,
Oh.
I'm like, how's that work?
Oh, okay, Trevin, I think
Or was
he
he the first one
forgot.
to send that out? Oh,
Yeah,
maybe he was the one that sent that. Yeah,
yeah, I think,
and then everyone just replied to it.
yeah. Normally we meet at 12:30, so
Right. Yeah. So I just saw 12. I was like, oh, so which is 2 o'clock where I'm at. So I joined in just in case.
was he here when you jumped on?
No.
Shoot, okay, well, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I was just a little confused. That's what I thought, and I was like, oh, wait. I thought we met at 12:30. So maybe it was saying we meet at noon, and then today we're just pushing it back to 12:30 since she might need a little more time for lunch. Anyway.
Okay, well,
Did you start recording?
I did. It's been recording for a little bit.
Okay.
So sorry to Nicole and Trevin who might tune in later. This was just not very helpful, I'm sure. But well, so Nicholas and I just went through this dynamic drop down. Hey, can you be really quiet for just a minute? We went through this dynamic drop down list and just how it's really, really similar to this list, that it's got a select tag instead of a UL tag. It opens and closes just like it opens and closes here. And that in our nav list, our home button never changes, so that one isn't part of the for each loop, but it's concatenated. It's added. Sorry.
So on your class list in your controller for vehicle controller index.php, where you create the dynamic drop-down list for the car classification, you gave the class list you use the select in that first line on line 26, I guess, in your code. And you gave it a class of dynamic drop-down menu. Are you actually using that for anything?
Oh, that is just so that I can style it in the CSS.
Like, did you do any styling to it?
I did. I just made it a little bigger because it was just so small.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what I did. Where is it? Dynamic drop down. Yeah, so I just made the text a little bigger, gave it a little margin. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Oh, I see. Did tell the font size large, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna grab a snack for her really quick. Hang on one sec.
Oh yeah, I'm just working on building my drop down menu with your from the help you gave me. Thanks.
Okay, so, and then just the other thing that we talked about before I started recording was that just like the nav list gets called in the add vehicle view with the echo of the variable name, we just do it right here where we want the nav list to show up. And that makes it so that this this just gets added. Okay, sorry. Hold on one sec, please. Okay, so this is where I'm stuck, and I don't know if you can help me or not, but I had it fixed with a tutor, and then I didn't. And then I messed something up, and now it won't go.
Oh no.
But my category gets added every time I like refresh this view, which is fun.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
Give me just a second. Let me finish typing this line I'm on, and then I'll switch back over so I can see your code.
okay.
All right. All right. Can you show me?
Okay.
So
yes.
it's adding.
Actually, something I did, I think fixed it, and I'm not sure what I did, which is kind of frustrating. Okay, so
Adding a classification.
oh wait, hold on. See, okay, so I just deleted out all the extra ones I had, but now I have exotic again. Okay, so I'm gonna delete, sorry, that there's an easier way to do that. Okay, so now if I go back and I refresh, and do you see how it's adding? Refresh.
Oh, that's interesting.
So now in my database, I've got all these same, it's like this, it's getting
Yeah,
added.
so let's look at your controller.
Okay.
And then, all right, let's look at your manage vehicle man.php.
Man. Oh. Okay.
Because there's there anything? There's nothing looks like in here, just 2 options, the 2 links. All right, so let's go, pull back your controller, your index.
Okay.
All right, let me pull up mine.
Hi, Nicole.
Okay.
How was lunch?
Oh, it was as good as McDonald's can be.
That's awesome. It's exciting. So we're working on a problem I'm having, Nicole. Every time I refresh this page, I get a new category added.
So question right now, if you click on my account, what happens? Okay.
So it keeps it.
Because you don't have the, on that page, you don't have the require ones for the accounts model. I'm not sure if it's needed actually though. Let's go back and look.
Okay. So when I refresh this page, it doesn't. Or when I go add classification, it doesn't. So you're right, it is this page only. So is it something where in my
I leave it there just a second. Okay. All right, scroll back up to the top.
okay.
Let's just kind of go down through.
Okay.
All right, I'm just looking at what's different between yours and mine. So got the same thing, the classification list, arrays, nav list. Okay, so building the class list. Okay, then action. Well, here's one thing I have different. So in your action, after, here, how about I share my screen real quick?
Oh, sure. Okay, sorry, I have to get one more snack. Hold on.
Hey, so, you know, McDonald's has a nice little side salad. At least here they do.
It is getting better, but I kept trying to be like, do you want to pick somewhere else? Are you sure you want to go to McDonald's? Yes, Mom. McDonald's always. So.
How old?
She turned 8 today.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Cool.
my 2 little 8-year-olds, they also enjoy that. Or actually, they've switched to Chick-fil-A, but we have a lot of Chick-fil-A's here. I'm not sure.
Our closest Chick-fil-A, well, we'd have to go up to BYU, Idaho, which I avoid because I don't like to be around the students. And then we have to go like 30 minutes down to another town to get like an actual Chick-fil-A. So.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, they're all over the place here. Most of them have play places in them too and stuff. So that's our preferred place to go if they want something like that.
Fun.
Because then we can get them grilled nuggets and a fruit cup.
Nice.
And they can play.
Okay, so Nicholas, tell me what's going on in your action.
All right, so this is what I have different than yours. So on the action, I have another action for vehicle management. So it loads the vehicle management page, and I'm wondering if the lack of that is causing it to cause the issue that you're having.
So can you walk me through why you have like 2 if action equals null? Like how does it know which one?
I'm trying to remember where I got this from. I might have got it from Trevon on adding this in here. Let's see here.
I guess I just don't understand what it's doing. I understand that you have an input post and an input get, but I don't understand why you have a second if it's null.
So if it's neither. So one thing that's different with this page than with our other controller. So our controller for our account. Both of these, this has a form on this page where it's submitting something. Whereas this, the controller for the vehicles,
So I did get it to work
okay, I've got it from
without
mine.
that, with
Okay,
a tutor. So I'm like, I don't think it's that. I
I
feel
wonder
like
what they did.
my my error has to be in where I'm submitting my classification.
Okay,
Go
let's
to
switch
yours,
back over and look at your, keep looking at yours. Can you show yours again?
yeah. I feel like my error has to be somewhere in here. This is my
Well, so this is happening after you add a new
classification.
after you're adding a new classification or a new vehicle. So you're adding a new classification, and then every time you, and then after you add it, it takes you back to the vehicle management page, and then if you refresh, it just keeps adding it more addition over and over and over again, right?
It does, yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me look at my add classification. Are you pulling up your? Okay. Pull up your add classification page.
Okay.
And let's just look at that real quick. All right, so you have it show a message first, and then it's just those two items. Classification name.
This one.
Okay. And let's go back to your index
Okay.
and scroll down and look at your case for that.
So this is my,
What was the name of the case? It was submit classification.
yeah, so this is my case for that. So what it's doing is, you know, you get the input. If it's empty, you get a message. Then we go through to add the outcome, which is just recording it to the database, which is over here, add car classification. Just connects, inserts it into there, prayers, binds the value, execute, repeats or makes the rows changed. So then this is actually just a repeat of this. And the reason the tutor asked me to do that is so that it would load the navigation to be updated with the new classification name, because it wasn't doing that first. So then this just makes it change in the navigation. That's all it does. It just makes sure that the nav gets updated. And then, so and then it takes you back to the vehicle man page if it's submitted, if it worked. And if not, you get a message and then it breaks. So that's what's happening.
I wonder if that is, I wonder if that section right there where it's rebuilding navigation is what is causing that to happen for some reason.
So if
Because, I mean, I don't necessarily have that, and it rebuilds my navigation and adds it to it.
I know, and he couldn't figure out why mine was doing this, but if let's just say, I delete all these, we refresh this, it still adds it for me, but if I add a new classification, it gets added. It didn't before.
Okay. Well, let switch back over to your controller, your index.
But it's still going,
It's
even
still
when
doing
I
it, yeah.
commented it out.
You know what? Let me test mine. Make sure.
Oh, I didn't save it.
I'm not.
I hate it when I do that. Okay, let me try one more time. Makes a difference. Okay, everything's gone. Add a new one. Oh, Fiery got added. Oh, see, it doesn't add unless I hit refresh, and then it
And
does.
hit refresh again.
And now it's still
Right,
adding.
it's still. All right, let me check. Let me test my functionality like that. Just a second. Oh shoot! Just a minute. I'm gonna have to fix mine because I broke mine trying to add that. Make that add the dynamic menu or dynamic drop down.
Oh, okay. The other thing I was going to say is this was a pretty easy fix for the tutor. Like I could just jump on and have him. Yeah, I'll go.
Well, I mean, let's see. So do the scroll down to that add vehicle, submit vehicle, or the add classification. Where's your add classification case at?
Okay, sorry, Nicholas. What did you say?
That's right. Where's your go to your add classification section again.
Like on the.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's right here. This is
Okay.
is what they.
Where it adds it. Okay. Let me look at it. All right. I did something a little different. I also added a message that says thanks for adding, and then I put the classification name.
Okay, so the only reason I didn't do that is
Because we kind of have that when we added a.
he specifically said.
Oh, did he?
Okay, let me find this. Down menu. Control should we do check? Go. Okay, so
Right there, you scroll back up a little. Keep going. So right there.
Okay, so this is under.
It should return
This is under the drop-down list, though, in the vehicles folder or vehicles thing. But
right there. Well, just a second.
for that one,
Go back. Okay. So that one, it does say the controller should return success or failure messages.
that one is for the vehicles when you add a new vehicle. This one, when you add a classification, it says
Not
when
send a success. I don't remember.
yeah, there will not be a success message. The classification item appearing in the navigation bar will be the indication of success. So that's why I don't have one.
I got you. Okay. All right. I just haven't gone through the fine print on mine. I'll have to do that. All right. So then let's see. Let's keep going. Just leave it there for a moment.
Yeah.
Or scroll back down. Oh, wait. Oh, you're fine right where you were. Message.
So if we don't want to sit and figure this out, like at this point, I'm like, I've stared at it for a really long time, like really have. we could move on to a different problem.
Okay.
I hate to pull so much of your guys' time.
No, I don't mind because it just helps me better understand the code. Right. Yeah, I don't really see much difference besides, you know, not having the message, and then also you having the rebuilding the menu, the navbar.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll figure it out, and then I'll make sure that I like make a note so that I know what happened, and I can email you guys what I figure out if you're interested.
Sounds good to me.
I don't know if you'll run into the same problem or not, but if you do, at least I'll have an idea on that. Okay, so the other problem, and I don't know if I'm stealing the show, and Nicole, if you wanna.
No, you're good.
Okay.
I'm behind you guys, so.
So my submitting the vehicle, like adding a new vehicle, I think I finally figured out what the problem is. I just don't know how to fix it. And so, no, hey. So in the submit vehicle, like we need all these data pieces that they fill in. But then we also need the classification ID, like whatever they choose, whatever the type of vehicle is that they choose. Does that make sense from the dynamic drop-down list? And so before, I didn't have this, and I was getting an error, and I didn't have this, and over here in my function to record all of this to the database, I didn't have this. And then I thought, well, I can't record that to the database because I'm missing the classification ID. And so I figured that in the database is the very last piece. Does that make sense? It's the last column. And so you got to go in order, right? So this one gets automatically generated, and then we go through each of these. But we also need to record that. And I don't think this matters what order this is in, right? But we've got to, this is actually just me testing to see if we even are pulling this out.
Well, so here's the thing. So on mine, have you been able to successfully submit a vehicle and it get added to your database?
No.
Okay. So I did, and so that was working until I just broke it with trying to build the dynamic menu, drop-down menu. So one thing I did was there's no options on the form for stock or for color. Right? When we submit a vehicle, we are submitting we're dropping down the box and we're choosing the classification type, right?
Yeah.
So that's the classification ID that gets passed.
Yeah.
So that's first on the menu. So I made that first in all of mine. I put mine in the same order as what the menu is and how they get passed in that same order, just to make it easier for me.
Okay.
So that way they're the same. And the second is I don't have inventory stock or color passed because we're not passing that through the form. So we're not getting that. So I commented those out. I had like what you had because I put them all in. So I commented out just the stock and color and took those out so they're not passing. And then it created, there's just nothing in those fields. Those are blank.
So I don't understand why you're not recording something for stock and color.
Because on the form, it doesn't ask for a stock or color when we're adding a new vehicle. Like, look at the form.
Well, I guess the form I created.
So you added that, but on the one, if you watch the video that the professor did, he doesn't have those options. He just has price. He doesn't include a stock, like whether it's in stock, yes or no, or how many there are, and he doesn't have a color.
He does, right here.
I just never saw. All right, so let me do this then.
Oh, phew. Okay, it's like, what?
Jeez Louise, man. I'm just like skipping so much.
That's okay. No worries. He does, it's just like, he runs through that really quickly. Like, the way he cut the video, he ran through that very quickly. So I could.
All right. So let me do a test on mine real quick.
Okay. But if your dynamic drop-down list isn't working.
Well, so even if I'm not using the dynamic one, I should be able to pass along and get something to add to the database.
Okay.
Just to see here.
So let me ask a theoretical question. So
yes.
if the form is set up differently than the database, like as far as what order, it doesn't matter as long as the order that you write your function is the order that these get passed is the order that these get passed. Like as long as that order is consistent, it doesn't necessarily have to. It doesn't have to match the form.
The order that they're in the database.
Okay, sorry. My kids are just all over. Hey, go get a treat. Oh, like, does that make sense? So, like, it doesn't matter what the form is doing. Doesn't matter what the database is doing, as long as when I record everything, it's in order. Like, this is in order, and this is in order. And then these match, and these match.
Yeah, but if you remember, like with functions, when you're passing something into a function, even though the function, you're listing the parameters in parentheses. So we're on the right side, you have function add vehicle. And then you have all your parameters listed in a specific order, right?
Yeah.
So down below where you have the bind values, where you're binding them together.
Yeah.
That order doesn't matter as long as the names match up, right?
Okay.
But the variables that are the function are getting passed to the function add vehicle, they have to be in the same order as what those are.
Like this and this?
Because, right. So those would need to be passed in the same order to it as what's, because you could totally change them, make them be different. It's going to go by, hey, there's 5 parameters, and then it's going to just put them in order. It's not necessarily going by name when it's passing them. But as long as those are the same and get passed in the same order, then you could use them in different orders within the function. So I think that's what you were saying. But as long as they're all the parameters are there and they're getting passed in the same order as what you're expecting them to be, and then when you go to use them, they don't necessarily have to be. Just to make it easier, just like how he said, hey, let's just use for the parameter names, let's just use the item names from the database.
Right.
Just to make it clear, I also just did mine in the same order as, and these are for the most part the same order as what they are in the database.
Yeah, just with the exception of you've got your classification ID first, because that's the way it is on the form. On the car
classification form. On the car classification in the database, that's the order that it's in, ID and then classification name. But I don't know if that's actually causing it to be different. Let me.
So I guess I'm not sure if I'm doing it right.
Hey guys, sorry to break in. I gotta go pick up a kid that's sick, so I gotta leave.
No.
So anyway, it's good to see you guys.
No problem.
And I'll watch the video later.
Yeah, we're still
okay.
So
So awesome. Thanks,
Is there
Kat.
anything that you wanted us to try to go over for you?
No,
later?
you're good. You're good. I
Okay,
gotta take
all right.
off. So, all
Okay.
right. Thanks, guys.
All right, good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
And then
So is
I just
this,
did a test.
is this right? Like, is it gonna be the same even though it's just a selection?
So this is in your controller. Let me pull up my controller. And this is on the submit vehicle. So let me go find mine. Mine's called add vehicle. Yeah, so I actually on mine, I just made my classification ID first and I put it first in all of them. But I don't know if that actually is any difference. So let me show you mine real quick, okay?
Okay.
And maybe you seeing it you might see something that's different and we can
Okay.
test or something. All right, so here's my controller,
Okay.
vehicle controller. So here's my add vehicle. Like I was saying, I just put the car classification ID first.
Mm-hmm.
I just put them in the same order that I had them in on the form.
Yeah.
And then just the same thing, I put the check in the same order.
Okay.
And same with the add outcome. And then I do have it giving a thanks, showing the make model.
Yeah.
All right, so, and then if it doesn't, then it says, sorry, adding the make model failed, try again.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so now let me pull up, or let me actually pull it up. Okay, so I'm gonna add a vehicle. So right now it's not working properly. It's still using my non-dynamic list,
Okay.
but just for testing.
Yes.
So I'll do trucks and I'll do, Chevy truck. And I'll just put blue in here because I don't have all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm just putting a path to my no image. And then I'll set a price. And then add vehicle. And it says, thanks for having Chevy truck. All right, so now if I come back over here and refresh my inventory, it added Chevy truck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did.
And so for the stock and for the color, and it left those, it just defaulted this to 0 and nothing there. So it created it, just didn't put anything in those fields. It chose 4 for the classification ID and
Okay.
4 is for trucks. So even though that's manual, that's still there. So it's getting added.
Yeah.
So what happens when you fill it out and you submit it again? Are you getting an error message or is it?
Well, I don't know. Let's try. Yeah, I don't get an error message.
So you don't get an error message. Do you get a message saying that it added?
Oh, you know what? I know what dang it, I hate it when I do that. Let me try this one more time. I had my echo statement still going. Okay, nothing gets added. It just refreshes the page and I don't even get a error my error message.
All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing. Will you share one more time?
Yeah.
I wish I had, I wasn't, or I wish I had set up with my multiple screens. It'd be easier so I could have all these going on at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, so I just added.
All right, go through the add again process because I couldn't see it. I was seeing it.
Okay, so just to refresh from the beginning. So that's what happened, and then
So it doesn't give you a mess. Okay, so switch over to your add vehicle.php page. Look at that. All right. So at the bottom, you have it. It's called submit vehicle. All right,
Yeah.
so let's look over at your submit vehicle.
So this is my submit vehicle.
Okay, so you have all of the values that are getting passed. They're all in a post.
So I think it has something to do with the classification ID. Like, maybe I shouldn't call it classification ID, or maybe I should call this classification ID. No.
This is, oh, and so you think it has to do with your dynamic list?
Yeah, I do. Because
All right, scroll back down. Let me take a look just real quick one more time. Go ahead and tell me why you think that.
so, you know, this name goes with this name, and all these match up with the form.
Yes.
But I need this name to match up with what is happening in my dynamic drop-down list.
Right, that needs to be, so in the parentheses,
Right here.
the input post, yeah, that. I think that needs to be whatever the name of the ID is for that item. So for yours.
So like, is it,
So show me where you built that.
so this is how I built it. And this is like what gets selected. So do I put classification select?
Try it real quick. So go down and in the parentheses, yeah, that one, make that classification select. And leave that the same. Leave that how that is. Let's see what happens. Just save it real quick.
Okay. Nothing.
Because if it would have added, it would have taken you to the screen. All right, go back. So let's go back and then change that right there. Also change that to select.
So then all of these other ones need to be select.
Yeah, because, or we could do the other way. Actually, make the one up in the menu in the class list instead of classification select. What if you make it classification ID?
Okay. Is that going to be confusing?
I know, right? I'm trying to. Just a second. Because this is a part I'm going to need to get working as well because I'm not using the dynamic menu right now.
Nothing. No car in the database.
Yeah. All right, let me see here. So, but this part, adding a new vehicle, you haven't got that to be successful yet, right?
Right, correct.
Okay. So you have the menu dynamically working to update the vehicle. So what if we do this? What if we try to test this out some way? Because if it didn't detect something in the
I wonder if it's class list. I guess I just want to try this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Nope.
All right, well, let me do this. So let me try to get switched over to using the dynamic list on mine and then see if I start having the same problem.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if all of a sudden I start having the exact same problem, then maybe it is some problem with the communication of the dynamic list, what it's naming it or passing, what the name of the variable is that's passing along. Let's see here. All right, so I'm trying to give me a minute here.
Okay.
So I got to remember where I'm at with doing this. All right, so I've going back to the add vehicle. All right, so I'm going to comment out this. And then I need to add a PHP echo. To bring in.
Do you want me to, their tutor is on right now. Do you want me to just jump on with him and see if he can see it?
Sure.
Do you want me to come back to this meeting? This Zoom room, or what would work?
Yeah, well, I guess we've been going for a while, so we can, I'm gonna work on trying to get my menu switch over to the dynamic. I'm not sure what I'm missing here, so
Yeah.
how about you go ahead and work on that with the tutor, and then let me know what you found out.
Okay. I will.
Does that sound good?
For sure. Yes. Just
Okay.
an email. Is that the best?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you want to just send out a recording to this meeting
Yes.
once it's done processing?
Yeah. As boring as it might be.
Well, no, because there's might be a few things, especially when we were back looking at your nav list or your class list that I just not remembering or something, so I may need to just reference back.
Okay. No problem. Easy. I'll work on that. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Nicholas.